fuck is this shit? Okay, never mind.
Banana slam jam.
Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves a BSJ replay. We have ourselves a 4.3K PA who will be in the bottom lane. No, let's see. He says, not a PA player, but I basically picked her because to blink out of Primal Beast Stomp in lane. I felt like I played the lane decently, but I'm sure lots of things are missing. I wasn't sure what would happen if I encountered Jug in lane post-laning phase. I assume that the 1v1 isn't good for me, so I just avoided him. I'm still not respecting when enemies are missing and dying because of it. Hopefully this gets better after enough negative reinforcement. That's the only way, man. I played late game fights really poorly, not pressing BKB, etc., but the team fights felt pretty hard for me. Maybe this is an itemization problem? Sure. We'll talk about it. So I will say this, guys. First and foremost, we did a PA vote, or we did a vote for Hero Guide for April. PA was actually the winner. So we did that on Patreon. You yourself, Arwen, might have voted. So I will be making a guide on this hero in the next week or two. There's just like a few things to note about PA, and I think the biggest thing about this hero is that I do think she's a noob stomper. Like, I think the lower MMR you go, the better the hero is. And that mainly due to the fact that she's really good at punishing people who kind of just play by themselves. She's really greedy. She goes for Battle Fury. She doesn't really do much in the early to mid game. So if people let you have more space than you're supposed to have, PA will capitalize on that pretty well. That's pretty much the main reasons why she's better at lower MMRs. But I personally think PA is quite a difficult hero, conceptually, because the biggest thing about PA is that she never really wants to show on towers, in lanes. Like, she can, but she's often using it with blur and all that kind of shit. So she doesn't really show on lanes. She's more gankable than the likes of Anti-Mage. She plays very similarly to Anti-Mage, right? Both have blinks, both Battle Fury, but her matchups are very different than Anti-Mage, obviously, and she can't blink wherever she wants to. So she's just a bit more gankable, a little bit harder to play, I think. But her laning stage is definitely better. So a few things to note about PA, just to take note if you're going to continue playing her. For starting items, I almost always buy a stick, if possible, because I cast a bunch of spells, and if my hero casts a bunch of spells, the enemy is more likely to buy stick, and this is like a cause and effect chain. If I cast spells, so they buy stick, they're going to buy stick and cast more spells because they'll have more mana to work with, which means I should buy a stick. Just something to think about. Not every lane, but oftentimes when I'm PA, because of that, I will buy a stick. But against Primal Beast, maybe you just need the damage, because Primal Beast hits for like 80 level 1 for no reason. Primal Beast is like definitely an OP laner. It's definitely like super broken. So I don't think PA is good against it. I've tried it myself. The thing about Primal Beast is it feels like you can't hit him on like whatever hero you're playing, because he just pops his third spell and then hits you for way more than you hit him for. So I think PA is okay in lane if you just play to chill, but you pretty much can't hit this guy once he levels his third spell. But he leveled his first spell, so he's actually kind of throwing the lane, to be honest. So that's really good for you. This guy already win ran. Nice. Okay. So far, so good, then. I think you're done here. And go back to lane. It's okay to miss one creep. Ideally, you would have wanted to get an XP range for that, but...
Denied.
You know, little things. So when I'm PA, I always check the inventory of the opponents. Maybe you did, but like I would see stick on this guy, no stick on this guy. I'm totally spamming dagger if they don't both have sticks. Like if they both have sticks and I think like that they're gonna turn that 15 mana on average into more damage towards me over time, then I will not spam dagger. But I would totally be spamming dagger here. Pretty much anytime the enemy support is in attack range of your support, you can look to dagger them. So like when I say spam dagger, I'm not just saying literally use it off cooldown, like whoever you can find, but like any opportunity. Like this is a perfect opportunity to like walk over and just dagger this guy, because the Mirana is going to get like 3 right clicks on the beast because of it. So a lot of PA is like assisting her support while farming, because she doesn't want to, just like any other carry, you know, you don't want to leave lane You want to be hitting creeps. So I think you would actually save yourself a lot more time if you had been more proactive thinking about that. Obviously, if you're newer to PA, it's fine. So when I say more proactive, I'm saying like if you think to yourself on PA, my dagger usage will oftentimes be based on the support to support interaction. Then you know, you'll look to dagger them sooner. Next thing about this exact scenario is this is very predictable, what's about to happen to you. If you look at the range creep here, the range creep here, this looks very predictable. You're going to go for this, and then these are going to run away. So what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to aggro when your range creep is below half. So like right now, you're supposed to aggro these creeps to follow you. So what that's going to do is, worst case scenario, you're going to get this creep and then turn around and just these creeps will still be here because they're following you. Best case scenario, you might even get the deny on the range. That's definitely something to, like a good habit to get into whenever the creeps separate like that. You don't want to be chasing after your own creeps when avoidable. Sometimes it's not avoidable, but in that case it definitely is.
Out of my
I'll just give you little fundamental things to work on. This is like super nitpicky, but I mean, all the best players do it. I myself don't even always do it. But when you're in this exact scenario, just click mid, click this guy, drag this creep to like over here, not in tower range, but like over here. And what that's going to do is notice how, because this creep dies when it does, it would keep the creep alive a bit longer, okay? It's going to keep the creep alive a bit longer, and when it dies when it does, notice how your creeps walk forward a bit. So instead of the lane being right here, it's about right here. Seems small, adds up a lot. I guarantee you do it every single game, you'll notice massive differences. When I play against people that do this shit, it's super annoying.
out of my way.
Okay, Mirana kind of griefed the lane equilibrium. After Mirana does this, it's really important you let your range get to half before you aggro. It's like really important to not aggro off your range here. So maybe it's a misclick, or what have you, but like it's really important these creeps don't get aggroed off this.
Turned your blade.
Okay. So in this spot where you reconnected the creeps, we're getting a lot of little micro laning practice for you here, man. This will probably help a lot of people. I mean, laning's all about just like a bajillion different scenarios and knowing what to do in each one. I mean, that's really all it is. So you're getting a lot of fun scenarios that are, I would say, relatively common. What I mean by relatively is like some games you don't see them, but you see them enough that it matters knowing what to do in them. So in this case, if you were to keep these two creeps here with you, like back here, that's like the most passive approach. And that's pretty much going to give Windranger 3 free CS and all that jazz. And it's also going to make it so that the lane likely meets around like right here, right? So that's one option. I don't really like that, but if you're in like a really bad lane where you're completely content trading farm, that's like what you should do. But in a lane where you're doing pretty well, like this one, I definitely like meeting the creeps, or combining the creeps with what you're doing here. So the combining the creeps makes it so the lane is going to meet further back afterwards because you're bringing 2 more creeps of theirs to attack these. That's like the benefit of doing that. So then what you're supposed to do is right around the time that these creeps are low enough HP that if you were to defensively aggro, they will not go on to the enemy range and kill it. Okay? That is the most important thing. Don't aggro these too early. And then what it boils down to is you want to aggro them about right now because then the lane's going to end up meeting back here. But if you don't aggro, the lane's going to meet up here. So I want you to see all the positives and negatives of this. You're 4K, so you're quite capable of understanding all these little situations. Hard to keep up with, but honestly, this is like a really good lane to practice on. Like there's a lot of cool scenarios for us to talk about. So yeah, little things. Being nitpicky, but I don't talk about these very often.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. So what's happening is, because you kept the creeps together, like this, because you left it like this, the lane equilibrium is pushing into you really hard. And you're a carry that can't fix that quickly, okay? So, like, when carries that can fix it quickly are ones with, like, really fast attack speed or, you know, nukes, like Medusa, for instance. But yeah, PA can't fix it. So if you don't eventually fix this, it was usually done by dragging the remaining creeps away and then hitting them a bit. What's going to happen is they're constantly going to have more creeps than you, and then you're constantly going to have to play defensively, which is not good. It's not meaning that if you didn't do this, you'd be able to play aggressively, but the more creeps the enemy has, the more defensively you have to play, so you're probably going to be overly defensive for no reason. So, like, notice how, like, you don't want to go on them because there's creeps. And so your Mirana is also going to feel this. Like, she's going to feel like, I can't do anything. And I need you to, like, for instance, this is a perfect example. Right here, I need you to just attack this creep twice and kill it, right? Like, this is a perfect opportunity. Nothing else is going on in the lane. The lane is pushing into you already. We don't want them to have way more creeps than we have. Let's go ahead and kill this. And all this means is, like, because you're not doing this, all this shit that's going on is, like, in their favor. You see this? Like, they're just running at you a lot. Like, you see what I hope you see what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to help. You're busy CSing. Looks like Wind Ranger's overextending a bit, though.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
You're playing the lane correctly. I think your lane equilibrium management's just not enabling you very much. You haven't played PA, but you're feeling why you're supposed to buy a stick. You're feeling it right now. You could probably go back through the replay. I bet they casted like 15 spells in this lane. Up until this point. You just have like full mana if you had a stick, right? That clarity was very valuable. I wouldn't have popped it there until I was out of vision. Like, I wouldn't do it on top of the creep wave. Overall, you're playing pretty decently. Just a lot of little nuances that 4Ks kind of just don't appreciate the fine things in Dota. You know, the little things that just eke out those advantages. I mean, like 6Ks don't appreciate it, so it's not just 4Ks.
Radiant are scanning for enemies. Dire's top tower is under attack.
This happens quite a lot in Dota. This happens quite a lot on PA. I'm gonna, like, spoiler alert it for you. PA is, like, really good against solo offlaners, or, like, even just, like, 2v2 lanes. She's really good against it. Like, she's actually a pretty strong laner. Over the years, they've given her, like, base damage and like, items that make her lane better, like Orb of Corrosion, potentially, and stuff like that. The hero's actually a pretty strong laner. In a lot of matchups. Not every matchup, but a lot of matchups. So what ends up happening to you is you just get like 3 heroes in your lane. So, I'll just tell you guys, this isn't an uncommon occurrence based on whatever hero you're playing. You'd be surprised even at like 4K that people like intuitively like will respond to the way your hero works. Meaning, like, if the offlaner's struggling because your hero's good against a solo offlaner, you'll often get 3 heroes in your lane. We're talking like PAs, Monkey Kings, Ursas. You know, you're likely to get 2 or 3 heroes in your lane. And this is just something you kind of have to be prepared for. I think the biggest thing about this is that if you were crushing them, you could maybe go a bit greedier. But I would have strongly considered, like, full wand and, like, raindrops in this lane, you know? Or, like, full wand and, like, a corrosion. Basically, more laning items. Because PA does not flash farm jungle. So at this stage in the game, you have 2 choices. To, like, brute force yourself into the lane, meaning, like, just investing every item that's reasonable to stay in the lane, or to give up because there's just no way you can occupy the lane and go, like, the damage components of a Battle Fury. You know, in the current patch, because they buffed jungle so hard, it feels really bad to go jungle. Sometimes there's just no better option. But I'm just telling you on PA, it's worth investing more gold to stay in lane because the hero just doesn't jungle. I just see that you're like rushing Battle Fury with these items. Feel free to, you know, I don't think Wraithband does much in this lane, but like, you know, buy the wand, buy an Orb of Corrosion, buy a Blightstone, something, you know? Because look at the way you have to play. I know you're new to PA, so I'm more so just telling you you're not supposed to know this, but just pay attention to like what's currently going on your screen. And take note that, like, it'd be really nice to just have a few extra laning items here. So now there are 3 heroes top. Okay, so let's just talk about the mindset here. Right here, I would be auto-attack denying. Because based on what's been happening, I want them to fuck off. Okay? So I'm assuming if once they start doing this, whenever I'm playing carry, that they're going to keep doing it. I think, like, it doesn't mean it's correct to assume that, meaning, like, they're always going to. But I think acting like they are is, like, always correct. So, like, right now, I think you killed Clockwork. Primal Beast is missing. And I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking like, are they just going to run at me with 3 heroes again? Like, is that what they're going to do? And so everything I do at this current moment is going to be preparing for 3 heroes in my lane. So I'm going to be auto attack denying. The second the Wind Ranger power shots these, I'm going to be auto attack denying again, like auto attack deny, you know, just like pulling the lane back. Because you can't play for efficiency if you're worried about getting 3 heroes in your face, right? We can't worry about like pushing the lane and jungling. We can't worry about this kind of shit. We just want to put the lane right in front of our tower, and if they come back, you know, they can suck it because we're sitting right in front of our tower. But the second that they prove they're not doing that, you start playing the normal push the lane out, farm jungle efficiency game. I mean, this is a bit higher level decision making than I think most 4Ks deal with, but I think that it's within your capabilities to do so. So yeah, that's pretty much the mindset here. So like right now, I would have been pulling the lane back, but now the second I see what's going on top, because there were a bunch of heroes that just showed top, I'm like instantly shoving this lane and looking to farm these neutrals, okay? Which is what you did. Great.
Dire should look to their middle tower.
Okay, you're gonna go pick up your Ring of Health.
Killing spree. Double kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Push this out. Just hit it. Yep.
There
Just hit
is
it.
little hope for Dire's
Just hit
middle
it.
tower.
Please just hit it. Stop wasting my time. Please hit the creeps. PA, just like any other carry who single-handedly farms with right clicks. You just click. So like this whole time that you're not clicking is an issue. The only single way for you to accelerate your farm is to click as often as possible. Just dooch, 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 dooch. Every single second that you could be ditching, and you're not ditching, you are being inefficient, right? So what happens here is that the ideal rotation is to farm these, farm the next creep wave coming in based on the timer, farm the big camp at 10 minutes, and farm this, and then it's probably going to be 10-12 at that point, and then you're going to farm the next creep wave, and then you're going to back off or like TP top or something, right? But the point is, if we envision like efficiency-wise, we want to farm this camp right here as close to 10 minutes as possible, because that's like the fastest that we can start our future rotation, right? So anything that we do that prevents us from getting to that big camp at exactly 10 minutes is inefficient. So like, you know, what happens here is you don't hit enemy creeps and you're like prioritizing pulling the lane back. But this is not good. It's not good to prioritize pulling the lane back because you just saw 4 heroes top. Once again, if we were scared of them ganking us here, what you're doing is correct. We're not scared of them ganking us. We have a lane ward. We're higher level than the Wind Ranger, and we saw 4 heroes top like 20 seconds ago. So notice how it's like 10:03 already. I need you to just hit these creeps. Please, please don't AFK in front of your tower while things are going on in the game. Actually, what happened there is Wind Ranger killed the big camp instead of you. That's like a complete disaster. It was 10:38. By the time you got to the big camp, the offlaner, who's 2 levels below you, was allowed to pull and farm your camp. That's a 2 big camp swing, man. That's like that's 2 big camps worth because you lost it and he got it. I mean, that's horrendous.
Dire's top tower
Okay.
is under
At
Dire's top
10 minutes into the game, when you're crushing this guy,
look to their Dire's middle tower has fallen.
please push the lane. Okay, now they're missing again, so we have to chill. I would even use Blur to farm these creeps. I would use Blur to farm these so I don't lose HP. Based on your situation. Yep, this is really bad. Yeah, man, totally understandable. You're new to PA. I hope you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing with your decisions. They're clearly bad based on what's happening in the game. Whenever I play heroes that I am not familiar with, my map awareness definitely tanks. So, totally got you, dude. So these are concepts that apply to pretty much every hero, especially the ones that can't jungle fast. These efficiencies that I'm talking about, these are the efficiencies that get you like a 14 or 13 minute battle fury rather than like a 15 or 16 minute battle fury. So yeah, because you're farming so slow in regards to hitting creeps and farming jungle camps, you always have camps to farm. I know that sounds weird, but what I'm saying is if we rewound and you had farmed this big camp at 10 minutes, because it's totally possible, by the way. Like, it was totally possible for you to right-click the creeps up here, right-click this creep camp down, immediately meet the next creep wave right here, and then go to the big camp at 10 minutes. That was like completely possible. At like the absolute latest, 10:05, right? Absolute fucking latest. You get to this big camp at 10:05, you're gonna kill it maybe by like 10:11, 10:12, and then there's gonna be a new creep camp or creep wave. You're gonna farm that, and then you're gonna farm this, and it's gonna be like 10:30. At that point, the world is your fucking oyster. You can look at the map, you can like assess what the best options for you are, but the point is you have options, right? You can walk over to this camp, you could TP top if the lane's pushing in, you could TP mid if the lane's pushing in, you can TP to ancients if you want to stack them. The world is your fucking oyster. But what happens here is because you're not prioritizing being fast about farming, these two camps are always here. They're just always here. And what does that mean if these two camps are right next to you and you're in your safe lane? You're going to want to sit there jerking it in the safe lane until they come and kill you. Basically, by farming slowly, you're making yourself incredibly gankable. Like, very gankable. You're gluing yourself down here and being incredibly predictable. Like, you're going to go from lane to camp, lane to camp, lane to camp. So it's really important, since most carries do this, you go lane to camp, lane to camp, lane to camp, that in moments where you're not in danger because of what the enemy's shown you, like we saw a bunch of heroes top, you play for ultra efficiency, because then by the time they do come to fuck with you, the camps are already gone and you're gone. You're already not there anymore. Like, imagine if you had just sped up your farm by even a measly like 4 seconds, right? Like, just speed up everything by like 4 seconds here. You go to this camp, right? Finish it 4 seconds sooner. Like, imagine finishing this camp 4 seconds sooner, right? You would have killed it and you'd already be like right here by the time Clockwork walks here. It's just a lot of little things that are building up to you just dying. So you cost yourself a big camp. You probably should have farmed a small camp earlier. So that's like 2 camps of farm and a death, all because you're not hitting enemy creeps when the opponent's showing 4 heroes top. That's it. It's as simple as that. PA against Jug early is not that great, but later it's good in terms of farming, by the way. Usually when you get like your second item on top of Battle Fury.
This is Gabe Newell. Dominating, I guess. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
I'll tell you that those deaths on PA happen a lot because this part of the game is your weakest stage. But if you avoid those deaths, it pretty much like doubles your win chance on PA. I feel like that death, if avoided, you almost always win because you get your like 13-minute Battle Fury. You have like an extra 2 or 3 minutes to use your Battle Fury. And then that's how you get to like Deso BKB with like never dying. But usually if you die once, it usually leads to like more deaths. So like, let's just look at the timer. I want to remind you that it's okay if you're a little bit scared of Jug, but you're not allowed to play like a complete fucking pussy on the map unless you're having a garbage game, meaning like your game's just horrible and the enemy's all missing. It's like, dude, the Jug's not gonna solo you, dude. At least acknowledge that you could like walk away from the creep wave, and if he chases you, you blink back to the creep wave. Like, let's get a little creative here. I know you're new to PA, but like, if the enemy team was all missing, I approve of you to go back to these ancients. But once again, 3 of them are dead, all of them are showing bottom, and you're playing passively top, okay? Like, I need you to not do that. What I want you to understand is this move here might have been reasonable if it was like 1240, and you're playing for efficiency, because you're gonna like dagger the ancients and then stack the hard camp, and then you can walk back top. That's like an efficiency move. You're actually netting more gold by doing that. But in this case, it's 13 minutes. So those camps are going to be there for another minute. I need you to farm as far forward as possible and then farm your way back to these camps. The most optimal way to play any ancient farmer that can farm stacks, which you will be able to once you get your Battle Fury, is to end at the ancients every 2 minutes, right? Because you don't need to be there every minute if possible, because you can just farm both of them at the same time. You know, obviously if you don't have your Battle Fury yet, it could be optimal to be there every minute because you're just stacking it. But I hope you get my drift. This is a very passive, for lack of a nicer way of putting it, you're basically being a complete and utter pussy. This is like, this pains me inside. Like this here with 4 heroes dead, dude, I'm telling you, this like just makes me, okay? This hurts me. Just a lot. So what happens because you played overly passive, which will happen a lot this will happen a lot if you do. You started the minute mark here, you went like this, and then you went like this. So what happens is there's this like 15 seconds of travel time where you're just like retracing your steps, which, you know, is just 15 seconds of wasted. If we can prevent our paths from overlapping during the same minute, it's really good. Sometimes it's not possible. Like, there's going to be moments where you just have to. But if you can prevent that from happening. So, like, what would have happened if you had played this properly? You would have started here at 13, right? You would have farmed the creep wave. You'd probably go to the next wave, since they were all dead. You'd probably go to the next wave. Then you'd probably go to the small camp. You'd be there at, like, 13:20. You'd probably kill this at, like, 13:30. And then you'd walk back to here, kill this at 13:45, and then you'd stack the Ancients. And that's just like such a clean rotation. No retracing of your steps. You farmed 2 creep waves, 3 creep camps, and you stacked Ancients. Instead, we farmed 1 creep wave and 2 creep camps with no stack on the Ancients. And once again, this is all because 4 of them died bottom. 4 of them were dead bottom. When the opponent is not threatening you, you play for complete and utter optimal efficiency. The only time where you don't play for efficiency is where you are concerned of dying. In your replay review notes, you said you were trying to avoid Jug. I need you to understand that most carries don't solo kill each other, okay? It's the matchups you don't want to be in is where, like, if you run into that guy and one of his supports show up, you die. And Jug is that type of hero for you. If, like, Clockwork or Primal Beast ganks you with the Jug, you will die. So when these heroes are missing, it's like important that you play the way that you did. But 4 of them are dead bottom, dude, you know? Big difference there. So this is the farming pattern we were looking for earlier. I would actually TP to Ancients right now. I would TP to here to get a stack off at 14:44. Once again, look at the map. You feel completely safe. You're a hero that doesn't pressure. You're not looking to show up to fights. Nothing else in the fucking world matters than just being efficient. Okay, so somebody had stacked Ancients. That's good. You're a PA with a Battle Fury. You see this fight going on, and you have a TP. Just walk top, dude. Trust me. This is the equivalent of the BSJ TP without TP. You're a PA with a Battle Fury. If your team's fighting, unless it's like ultra convenient for you, meaning like it's at the top rune, and you're right here, which is ultra convenient for you. That's like the definition of ultra convenient. Just continue on your farming patterns. The only way that you wouldn't do this is if you had started the minute up here. All 3 of these camps were like already dead, and then you farmed these 2 camps. I need you to start thinking more around the minute mark on every carry player that's watching this and every carry player that's gonna like have future replays. This fight would be good if it was 16:55 and you had farmed all these camps already and these 2 camps were already dead and you're like, well, I got nothing else to do for the next 15 seconds. That would be fine to like gander over here and see if you can contribute to this fight. You've got 30 seconds and like the fucking entire enemy jungle to farm. So you're gonna miss like 3 or 4 jungle camps by even walking over to this fight. So whatever you get out of this fight has to be guaranteed better than 3 or 4 jungle camps. But in the other option where you'd already farmed everything at 16:55, you're going to maybe miss like 1 creep camp because you stayed from 16:55 to 17:15, you know? Like you're going to maybe miss 1 camp there. Your map positioning is consistently passive because of everything we're talking about, by the way. Very consistently passive. On heroes like PA that are very weak on the map, you need to hide next to the waves you want to farm if you don't feel safe to farm them. That's like the philosophy you have to go for. Fight your way onto the map, okay? Stop walking backwards when the opponent is not making you walk backwards. So right now we see 2 heroes running top. I totally understand. Like, but your options are to run all the way to here. And I'm just telling you, it's not good to do that. If they were showing 3 heroes here, sure. Like, go ahead and do this, because they're, like, revealing their hand. But if you were to, like, walk right here, and these guys just do this, it's like, what the fuck do you do now? You know, it's like, you're gonna get pinned. So, what I'm saying is, if you don't play like this, the way you're playing, you're gonna have a lot more space on the map, and your team's gonna feel it too. So I need you to walk, like, here. And just sit up here until they give you information. The biggest thing about this conclusion that I'm telling you to draw to is there's nothing fucking better to do. Like, look at the map. There's just nothing better to do right now. So put yourself near the wave that you want to farm if you don't feel safe enough to farm it.
I think your eyebrows growing back.
So you end up walking all the way back top. You just end up being late to the wave. Yeah. This guy gets baited. Okay, it works out. You can push alt and tip him up here, by the way. No need to open scoreboard. Talking about efficiency here. Okay. Definitely need a BKB because we're against SF with the Yules. Need you to work your way back top right now. Please work your way back top. Stop this fucking, like, double guessing yourself or whatever this fucking shit is where you posture towards mid. Oh, this hurts so much. Oh, this fucking hurts so much. You die here because you did what you did, okay? You doing this and then doing this got you killed right here, okay? As long as we're on the same page.
Dark won't I go?
Nothing else to say. I need you to consistently be camping these trees, and when this ward spots 2 heroes, you clear this creep wave, and then they're gonna be like, oh shit, there's a PA top, go get him! And then you're already gone. And then this shit just ain't gonna work. You're not clearing creep waves, you're not being aggressive on the map. It means your team is operating with very little information. You're not forcing rotations. The opponent can just hunt you continuously, and they're gonna go to the most obvious place that you wanna be. You can't just farm triangle on triangle farmers and expect it to work. You have to force the opponent to chase you around such that you can freely farm the triangle. Because if they aren't forced to chase you, they're just gonna go gank you in the triangle. That's like what they're gonna look for. Right? Because they know if they don't see you, that's where you are. We have our BKB timing. We'll watch this like BKB timing. So pop BKB, not a good start. Okay, we're using it.
Killing spree. Hello, double kill. Gabe Newell.
Okay.
Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
You guys should immediately go Roche with Huskar PA. Kind of makes me. Do we already have Aegis? I wouldn't go Deso here. The reason why I wouldn't go Deso is because it's a really hard PA game. Like, if you were absolutely free farming and you hadn't died at all, and you already had, like, Deso BKB, like, 2 minutes ago, it'd be good. Because even though it's a hard PA game, you're just, like, super fucking fat, and you can just go ideal items. Personally here, I'd probably go Manta. I'd probably go Manta MKB. I know I need an MKB because I'm against Windranger. She's, like, the main threat against me. I need MKB, I need Basher, and I need some utility item that keeps me alive. The way I come to these conclusions is because BKB doesn't feel like enough. You're eventually going to deal with an MKB on Windranger, and you're eventually going to deal with Omni Slash. BKB is nice, you need it. It helps you against Clock Primal Beast SF, but it's not going to be enough to keep you alive as the game moves forward. You're not like invincible with BKB. Satanic is usually a good option for PA to be like that supplemental item, right? Satanic being the one that like you don't only have BKB to keep you alive. But Satanic's pretty garbage against like a Yule's SF, supports that are going to burst you, Windranger with Windrun, Jug with Omni Slash. It's not a reliable item in this game. Like, I usually want one supplemental item on any hero that can die while they're in BKB. Like, if I can die while I'm in BKB, I'm either buying like SNY to use my BKB, I'm buying Manta to like disjoint single target abilities. Like, if Clockwork hooks you and he's battery assaulting you, you can just pop Manta and hit him and he'll die. Because, like, the battery assault will separate between targets. If Jug, like, Omni Slashes you, you can pop Manta, then Blur, and you'll not take, like, any damage. Like, you're just going to dodge pretty much all the damage. If you see Windranger, you can just pop Manta. If you get it off before he focus fires you, it's going to buy you, like, 3 or 4 seconds, because he has to figure out which one's you. So, maybe not 3 or 4, but, like, 1 or 2 seconds. But against Windranger, 1 or 2 seconds is a lot. So that's why I would have chosen Manta. And because you're not having a fantastic game, I would itemize to get to the point where I eventually will carry. So I'm coming to the conclusion that I need MKB against Windranger because PA Windranger matchup, you need to threaten her before she threatens you. The other option's Nullifier, but it's not really that great of a Nullifier game other than Windranger. I'd rather just have an MKB. But you could have gone Nullifier if you really wanted to purge the Windrun. So yeah, I would have Manta MKB and then a Abyssal in my inventory because we're dealing with probably a BKB SF at some point, Jug Spin, let you actually burst the Windranger. So these items need to be in my inventory, and because I've thought about the game that way, I'm like, I can't buy this Deso. That's like pretty much it. I mean, I feel like the cast range is almost always better, but I can understand why you took the lifesteal. A lot of weird things going on in this game, but I did go in a lot of depth for the early game, so I hope that helped you a lot with PA, and I talked about like the future items that I would buy.